Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video, we're going to talk start collecting Warhammer 40,000, and today we're going to take a look at the combat patrol for the Death Guard. Now, in this video, the aim is to show you all the different units you get inside the box set, talk a little bit about them. We'll then take a look at some other units we can use to expand upon this initial box set, and finally, at the end of the video, show you a little sample army list for you to use, hopefully as some inspiration for starting your own Death Guard army using the combat patrol box set as the core for your force. And so, to begin all of that, let's talk about Typhus, the character model we get to lead the box set. Now, we do actually get two characters. One of them is sort of the weird sub-characters that we get within Warhammer 40k, the secondary style characters. Typhus himself is a named character, one of the most prominent characters for the Death Guard in all of Warhammer 40k. Second pretty much only to the Primarch of the Death Guard himself, Mortarion. Now, we do have a couple of cool rules. The Destroyer Hive, where while this model is leading a unit, each time a melee attack targets a unit, you are -1 to hit, which is really cool. And the Eater Plague is a psychic power where in your shooting phase you can select one enemy unit within an 18 inch and visible to this model. You roll a d6. On a 1, the Psychic unit will suffer d3 mortal wounds. On a 2 to 5, the enemy suffers d6 mortal wounds. And on a 6, the enemy will suffer d3 plus 3. Now, just remembering, that does sound a little bit weird, but what that means is it guarantees at least 4 wounds on the roll of a 6. So it is more, while, you know, the dice roll technically sounds a little bit lower. Now, Typhus himself has a master-crafted Man Reaper. This is a really cool weapon because you can have a strike or sweep profile. What the strike does is boost his strength up to 9, where he's -2 AP, damage 3, but he only has 5 attacks, or he can go for a 10 attack profile, which will have strength 6, -1 AP, damage 1. So he has the option to go either into some of the heavier models in the game, or go into horde clearing mode. Regardless of which profile he does choose, he will have the lethal hits rule. On top of that as well, he can lead a couple of different units of both the different variations of Terminators we have access to in the Death Guard, being Blight Lord and Death Shroud variations, and Poxwalkers as well, which come inside this box set. Our other character is the Biologist Putrefier. Now, this is a really interesting model, as it's a character that can join into other units. You can attach this unit to a unit of Plague Marines, even if another leader model's already been attached, which is pretty cool. Now, what this does is it has a variety of different special rules. You've got Foul Infusion, where while this model's leading a unit, weapons used by that unit have the lethal hits ability. In addition, each time a model in that unit makes a critical hit, it is on a 5+ rather than 6+. So even if the unit's already got lethal hits, it will give some extra sort of power to them, but this definitely helps with things like Plague Marines, things like their multi-guns and plasma guns and all that don't have lethal hits will now have the rule. Explosive Maladies, once per battle in your shooting phase, you can target this model with the grenade stratagem for 0 CP, even if you've already targeted another model with the same stratagem. Weapon-wise, it's got its Hyper Blight grades, which are Assault Blast lethal hits with a 12-inch range, D6 attacks, Ballistic 3+, Strength 5, -1 AP, damage 2, and its Injector Pistol as well, which is only 3-inch, but is a -1 AP, damage 3 weapon. Now, the first unit I want to talk about are the Plague Marines, and we'll talk about them in a little bit later in the video as well, because they are an odd size in this box set. Now, you do only get 7, and they do need to be taken in units of 10, but there is a way to remedy this really quickly with another little set on top of this box set, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the Plague Marines themselves have the Remorseless special rule. What this does is each time this unit's within range of an objective marker, each time you take a battle shock test for this unit, you add 1 to that test, so they're really hard to shake off objectives, which is really nice. And you have a wide variety of different weaponry, where your Plague Champion already can have plasma guns, plasma pistol, bubotic weapons, and a heavy plague weapon. For every 5 models in the unit, you can have a single Blight Launcher, you can have a Plague Spewer for the same amount, and indeed a Multi-Gun, Plague Belcher, or Plasma Gun for the same amount again. So you can have a really large variety of different special weapons in the unit. For every 5 units, you can also have 2 Plague Marines with the bubotic weapons, and for every 5 models in the unit as well, 2 Plague Marines can have the heavy plague weapons as well. So there's just a load of different options for the unit, and you know, there is more than 10 weapon options in that list. So you will get to sort of build your unit really how you want to. So just a couple of things about it different. The Blight launcher and a bunch of the different weapons, so your Plague Bolt gun, Plague Bolt pistol, as well as some of your combat weapons like the Bubonic weapons, Heavy Plague weapon and Plague knives, all have the lethal hits rule. You don't have things like plasma guns and melty guns, which are more common in the game. They're going to do exactly what you think you do. You've got a little bit of anti-tank and some anti-sort of heavy infantry, great for taking on other Chaos Space Marines. Lastly, in the box set, we have 30 Poxwalkers. Now, Poxwalkers are taken in units of 10 to 20 models, so you do actually get 2 or 3 units of Poxwalkers here. For me, I think the optimal split when you're beginning in the game will be a unit of 20, a unit of 10, but they do have some cool rules. So, they've got Curse of the Walking Pox, where each time a model in this unit makes an attack that destroys an enemy model, you can return one destroyed Poxwalker model to this unit, as they effectively add something to their number. Now, while Typhus is leading this unit, enemy models destroyed as a result of Typhus, the Eater Plague ability, will count for this rule as well, which is pretty darn cool. Other than that, they are, not particularly great. They're going to have their improvised weapons, which do have lethal hits for 2 attacks at weapon skill 5+, strength 3, no AP, damage 1. Lethal hits definitely does hurt there, so you're really just aiming to get those lethal hits through. They are toughness 4, which is pretty cool for, the size of infantry that they are as well. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. And so, where to go next? Now, I wanted to talk about Plague Marines first of all, because yes, there are only 7 in the initial box set, and while this does work for the Combat Patrol style of the game, and the main game of Warhammer 40k, you will need to upgrade the unit to 10 models. Now, luckily, there is a simple kit you can buy, which is the Plague Marine Upgrade Sprue, which will give you the 3 models you see pictured here. This includes a model with Melty Gun, which is pretty cool, and a couple of other Chaos Space Marine Plague Marines there as well. But moving on to other units we can use to expand upon the initial box set, I think Blightlord Terminators for me are a really fun unit. You definitely have the option of 2 different Terminators. For me, I think at the start, Blightlords are the little bit better option, considering Typhus is probably going to want to join a unit of the Poxwalkers. This will be another unit that can definitely be a good sort of force multiplier, giving you a bit of power across the table. Now, the Blistering Fusillade, where each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack, you can reroll wound rolls of 1, is really nice. You can take a variety of different weapons on the unit as well. Much like the Plague Marines, they have so many different options. Every model in the unit can take combi bulkers, upgrade them to combi weapons. You then got the Blight Launcher or Reaper Autocannon for one of them. And you can also take a Plague Spewer in addition, so 2 special weapons or heavy weapons inside the unit, and indeed a Flail of Corruption on one of the models as well. What's really cool, your Flail of Corruption is going to net you 6 attacks at strength 5, minus 1 AP, damage 2. And then, you've got a bunch of the Devastating Wounds weapons with your Reaper Autocannon having them. Your Plague Spewer having the nice Anti-Infantry 2+, with Ignores Cover and Torrent, so great for clearing out enemy hordes. And your Blight Launcher with lethal hits as well will be a nice high strength damage 2 weapon. Now, looking next, the Death Gun have some really interesting small arms vehicles. And the Photo Bloat Drone is the first of these, toughness 9 and 10 wounds. This model has some really cool abilities and really cool weaponry. It comes standard with a Flesh Mower, which actually is a combat weapon with 10 attacks, 3+ for weapon skill, strength 7, minus 1 AP, damage 2. And it's also eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. Now you can upgrade that Flesh Mower to either Twin Plague Spitters, which are Anti-Infantry 2+, Ignores Cover and Torrent, which is really nice, or a Heavy Blight Launcher, my particular favourite. 6 attacks, Bliss Skill 3+, Strength 8, minus 2 AP, damage 2. A good sort of thing to target these other sort of light vehicles in the game with. The Mephitic Blight Hauler is the other option we have for these cool little demon engines that the Death Guard have. This model has the Tank Hunters rule, where each time a model in the unit will target a vehicle, you can add 1 to the wound roll. This is pretty cool, considering you've got a couple of different good weapons to go into vehicles with its missile launcher and multi-melter there as well. And so, looking at an army list for this, we've obviously gone with the Plague Company here as our little allegiance and our detachment, because it is the one we currently have available to us with the Death Guard. Now we have Typhus, and Typhus will be our Warlord, but we have gone with the Biologist Putrefier in there as well, who's taken the enhancement Living Plague. What this does is just adds 3 inches to the range of the bearer's aura abilities, including Nurgle's Gift as well. Battle line wise, we've got our Plague Marines, and these models we've just picked here, the weapon loadouts we've got are going to be the ones available to us in the current box sets that we recommended, with the initial Combat Patrol plus that 3 model Plague Marine expansion. And then other infantry, we have a unit of 20 and a unit of 10 Poxwalkers. The 20 will definitely be where Typhus goes in, though we have taken Blight Lord Terminator, so he does have some other options if he wants to, as well as he can join them as well. They've gone for all of their nice little upgrades in them. We then have, lastly, for the Force, a Mephitic Blight Hauler and a Photon Bloat Drone with a Heavy Blight Launcher upgrade. This gives us a perfect 1,000 points, and if you've got any ideas on how to expand upon this initial box set for the Death Guard, I'd love to hear your thoughts on them, how you've been going with them in 10th edition. If you have got any games in already, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me, we have a Discord server for the channel, and that is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. This is either via Patreon or YouTube members using one of our affiliate links and codes down there, like Baron of Dice, Gap Games, or Mithras Games, or by supporting us directly on Patreon or YouTube members. If you'd like to do any of those, we have links for that all in the description, and as a special thank you to our Patrons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons: Soren, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Q Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C, and our YouTube members: Greenridge Gaming, Ronya, Lock Loric, The Johnny84, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, James Tillman, Disco, and John Castle. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Once again, everyone, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.